indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by World Lacrosse.
Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high-quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
Welcome to the 25 European Men's Lacrosse Championships from Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. It's time for the knockout round to begin. Up first, 13th seeded Slovakia taking on number 20 seed Sweden. Good morning and welcome from Wrocław, Poland. I'm Ralph Bednarczyk, joined by Ingemar Klinbanik. Ingemar, it's a new slate for these two teams. Sweden went 0-3 in their Group C play. Slovakia, tough loss yesterday at the hands of the Italians, who ended up as the number 1 overall seed. Slovakia went 2-2 through group play, but it's a fresh start for the two teams as they start today, and for everybody that starts today in the knockout round. Sweden in the blue on blue, Slovakia in the white on white. We had some light rain just before this one about a half hour ago, and we start things off with an immediate flag from one of our 4 officials.
Yeah, definitely for Sweden. They're still looking for their first win, and actually Sweden is a traditional powerhouse in European lacrosse. They won the 2012 bronze medal in the European Lacrosse Championships in Amsterdam, and although it's long, it's quite a while back, they're still considered, I think, a powerhouse in European lacrosse, and looking for their first win today.
It's going to be elbow called against Sweden's Aaron Larkenfelt, who's going to sit in the box defensively. Larkenfelt with Gustav Ekman, starting long pole midi Gustav Thompson, and starting defender Rafael Nielsen in front of the goalie Richard Seidlitz. So the man up can begin for Sweden once they get the clear. And goal for Slovakia be their starter AJ Babiny from Toronto, Canada. He'll be playing at Division I Bryant University in Rhode Island coming up in the fall. And the transition will start here for Slovakia, down a man. Griffin Schultz with 3 goals yesterday for the Slovaks in their loss to Italy. Down a man, and the shot down low misses. Good look for Simone Tomei, who's playing in his second game. He rushed to get here, and missing the first 3 games, was able to get here and play against Italy off the bench, but he gives them energy, fresh legs more than anything for some of these worn down teams, as the heat has finally arrived to Wrocław, and a lefty, which could also greatly balance out the Slovaks. Here's now we enter the consolation bracket. Samuel Postma, the official noting a kick with possession, so Slovakia will have it as we are all even. The lineup for Slovakia with Christian Babiny, with Stefan Flaska, 2 high schoolers, and Griffin Schultz, who just graduated a tremendous career from the University of Virginia. On the attack, number 11, Samuel Postma, is a native of Ontario, Canada, joined by Ivan Chernak and Eric Lichtner. Stefan Flaska. Feet in front is you're looking for Postma, and Postma was thinking about the shot before he caught it. And Gustav Thompson, who's had a good tournament, will transition the other way.
Oh.
And Thompson Schutz was able to get stick first, then body, so it's ruled a clean hit. So Schutz will come up with the takeaway.
I saw a little bit of helmet action there, but I guess the referees called it a brush.
Limping off the field is Gustav Thompson. Sweden with just 18 players as it is out of their 22 maximum. As there is a shot that Seidlitz comes up with a save. He's able to stop Eric Lichtner, and possession will go back to the Swedes for Sweden head coach Martin Davidson, along with the longtime assistant coach, former player, and one of the founders of Sweden Lacrosse, and John Saglius. They were disappointed 2 days ago when they got thumped by Croatia. They thought they could have performed better. Something about the body language of their team was just not there. Didn't sit right. They lost 9-3, and lost 11-3. Then they came out and played a much more inspired game yesterday. They talked about playing with inspiration, with grit. They had to get much more organized. And even despite the score at the hands of Ireland yesterday, where they lost 18-1 to the eventual pool champion, they thought they actually looked like they played much more inspired and much more organized and together with the way they ran their offense, the way they communicated. They just couldn't play to the level of a team that is virtually all players from NCAA America.
Yeah, sometimes the score doesn't reflect how you feel after a game, right? And sometimes you can take away so many positive things which don't reflect the score. But yeah, if you have nice team play and you can feel each other and you can talk to each other, it has a positive outlook for the upcoming games.
Sweden with the first settled possession. Ludvig Thompson will be on the attack with Anton Bromander and Kevin Powers. And there's a strip and a takeaway. A good stick again by Callan Murphy on the push by Schutz for Postma off the fake. Beautifully done. Postma with box skills from Ontario. That might have been the third, if not the fourth fake, Ingemar.
Yeah.
I lost count. It's 1-0.
It were so many fakes. I also lost count, but you can definitely see his box skills there. And I've seen him play in the Alice Zabreski Memorial last April with the Bratislava Bats, and this is, I think, a one-on-one translation of his skills. He also shown in the box league there.
Transition push. Schutz sprung him free after the good takeaway by Callan Murphy. Here, the face-off X, both teams have been looking for solutions. Top face-off man Jonathan Quigley will just play man up for the Swedes. He's one of the two face-off guys, so it's a lot on former wrestler Henrik Nelson, who's been facing off for only a couple of years. Just celebrated a birthday last Friday on the 9th, just before he got here. And a lot on the plate of Nelson to face off and take almost all of them now for the Swedes moving forward, as we'll get a whistle. Our official here near side, Craig Stevens, trying to explain to the players. Stanislav Pergat took the face-off for the Slovaks, and he's been their primary face-off guy and one of the captains of Slovakia. And now they get a conference here and redo the face-off.
Yeah.
Well, this is highly unusual. I'll have to ask at halftime exactly what happened.
All in good fashion, though. I saw the players here on the wing talking to each other, laughing about it, so no harm done there.
Nelson, a second chance at Pergat, and Pergat kicks it forward. And because he kicked it so far, it's going to end up going to Sweden. But now a player shaken up for the Swedes. And that's the D-midi on the wing, Oscar Gramming. Well, attrition and surviving this tournament, playing several back-to-back days. You get a day off, but a contact sport like this is typically not meant to be played back-to-back days. And Gramming is shaken up. Again, Quigley is already going to be out. And Sweden also brought 3 goalies with them on their limited roster, so that takes up one extra spot in terms of field players. So they cannot afford to lose anybody, especially in the thankless position like short stick D-mid, and as Oscar Gramming is now to his feet.
Yeah, and they already have a small roster, so they can fill all roster spots, so they have 18 guys, and 3 of them are a goalie. So
you do the quick math.
Yes.
You have 15 field players, so if Quigley is a little bit limited, you take Gramming off the field, and all of a sudden you're asking every one of your midfielders to have to play 2 ways for extended periods of time. By the way, the result of this game, the winner will take on the loser of the 5-12 game, which will play later today between Ireland, the 5, and Poland, the 12, while the loser will take on Portugal tomorrow at 9 a.m. So that's what's at stake to move forward. So Sweden has possession after Pergat kicked it so far. Now the transition for the youngest player, Rafael Nilsson, just 18 years old, defenseman for the Swedes, as he's dealing with the ride of Postma. And we'll go all the way across the field here for Gustav Ekman. Ekman, Nilsson, and Larkenfelt, the 3 defenders. This is off the stick of Nilsson. And he'll get some assistance from Larkenfelt. And Larkenfelt will come up with a calm clear and dropping it off for the leading scorer. And one of the iconic figures in Swedish lacrosse, and Kevin Powers, native of Issaquah, Washington. And his mom is here. He is half Swedish, but he has consistently represented Sweden both in box and in the field game for the better part of a decade. Here's Anton Bromander.
Yeah, talking about Kevin Powers, Ralph, I think he's the only player here on the Swedish team who was part of that 2012 bronze medal winning Swedish team. So quite a long career for him.
And Sweden was one of the early, original founding members of the European Lacrosse Federation. As they turn it over, they brought in UL Salenhag for the first time. Now AJ Babini, and ahead here for Jackson Hartja. Transition chance, and there's the first goal for Simone Tomei. He had to wait an extra 24 hours. Great transition shown by the Slovaks and Tomei, and perhaps he can be a substantial difference maker. Good find down low for Martin Kramar, who comes up with the assist. And Tomei with his first goal of the tournament. 2-0 Slovakia. And Slovakia yesterday, great visit. Again with Coach Jan Flaska, offensive coordinator Greg Tiers, and the staff, manager Igor. About yesterday, they were the latest victim of the tremendous Angelo Venuto face-off man for Italy, who faced off Engelmar, no joke, 95%, and scored 3 goals. Pergat, face-off win. Schutz, and Schutz is able to stick it in. Schutz keeping his feet out of the crease to make it 3-0. Good push from Pergat.
Yeah, you were just talking about amazing performance by Venuto, and I think throughout the whole tournament we've seen some excellent face-off wins and face-off performances by a lot of these players. I think the Latvian face-off man is doing a really good job. Mackenzie Moreland for England. So yeah, all over the board, all over the tournament, you've seen excellent face-off plays.
And there's been certainly a great discrepancy in facing off. There's been some overwhelming face-off performances in this tournament, and Venuto might be the high man. 95% yesterday against the Slovaks, and also scoring 3 goals, solo goals in transition. Timeout is taken by Sweden to regroup. By the way, the goal scored by Griffin Schutz, just graduated from the University of Virginia, was a PLL draft choice. Out of it, native of Connecticut. He is going with regular sneakers here today. He's the first player that I have noticed. I've had a couple of players mention to me they're trying to adjust to this turf when it gets a little bit wet. It's a thinner turf, and when it rains a little bit, it gets slick. It looks very good, drains well, there's no puddles, but he is going with no cleats, actual sneakers today, because it did drizzle for perhaps 20 minutes, about a half hour before the start of this game. So he is going with sneakers that you might play basketball with, Engelmar.
Yeah, and also seeing other players with even Nike Air Max on the field, which normal people just wear outside just to the club or to lunch. But yeah, here on the field, it's I've seen every kind of type of shoes already. I've seen cleats, I've seen sneakers, I've seen kind of the turf shoes with the little knobs. So I think it's just a personal preference, but it doesn't seem like one type of cleats is doing the job for everyone. So it's interesting.
We'll see if the Dutch, if your home team, the Dutch will come out. Anybody with Crocs coming up in the next game once it gets hot.
Well, if there is someone, it's probably the goalie, Thomas Heidsma. Okay. He's a big Crocs fan.
Sure. Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, if Heidsma plays his position well, then his feet should never face him.
Yep.
Should never make contact with the ball.
Definitely.
So we'll have to have a discussion with Thomas once he comes on the field. Face-off win here by the Slovaks. Martin Kramar definitely wearing cleats as he comes up with the ground ball and not going with the Griffin Schutz plan of sneakers. And here's Eric Lichtner. Sweden taking the timeout and trying to get organized. They've given up 2 transition goals, which I think for Martin Davidson would be disappointing. They've been able to play 6-on-6 fine. And their hope is that their grittiness would start to really shine as they started to face teams closer to their talent level compared to what they just faced in their group of Croatia, Wales, and Ireland. A whistle as Slovakia turns it over. And the turn, Neil Schneider. Neil's on that first midfield. And Sweden's had really one true offensive possession thus far, and we've played 10 minutes. Schneider against the ride, and it's taken away. Simone Tomei had the pickup, feeding Postma. And Postma around Rafael Nielsen, and another settled possession for Slovakia. They bring on now lefty midfielder off the second midfielder in Jake Nanaski, who's had a good tournament. Nanaski's also scored goals with his offhand, his right hand. Schutz. Schutz the drop off. Official indicating an elbow. No, actually offsides. A 30-second call is shown. Offsides against Sweden. So the kind of mental error that even at this juncture in the tournament you hate to see, but there has been a clear adjustment that these players have to make and staffs have to make when there's 4 officials compared to regular club play. They might have 1 or 2. So Nanaski will start up top. Eric Lichtner, the lefty on the far side. Schutz on the approach, shoots low, and he surprises Seidlitz. Seidlitz was not quite in an upright position, and Schutz realized it. He had the position low, 4-0.
Yeah, it's actually a really good wheel play. You've seen Postma feeding Schutz, and I think that's an excellent shot. Him coming from that goal line extended, coming up, and yeah, like you said, I don't really think the position of Seidlitz was perfect to anticipate that shot.
Griffin Schutz is a native of Trumbull, Connecticut, but for 3 years of high school attended Deerfield Academy, where his Slovakian head coach Jan Flaska teaches as director of spirituality and as a religion teacher, and has coached 3 different sports there. Jan Flaska is a first-generation Slovak through his parents, who both emigrated from the then Czechoslovakia in 1967 and then met in New York City in 1969. And then had Jan, and he mainly grew up in the Denver region and now has made his home in New England after playing at Bowdoin College in Maine for the last 30 years, but still has great roots and connection. He is in Slovakia all the time. And a random story, they discovered when Griffin Schutz was attending and playing at Deerfield Academy that Schutz had Slovak heritage. Nanaski, through Schutz's grandfather. Feed down low, Schutz on the cut, stays patient and scores. Well done there after the first fake, not to panic, and Eric Lichtner found him on a curl cut to make it 5-0.
Yeah, again, he came from that X position coming up from GLE, and again, he had a one-on-one on the doorstep with the goalie, with Seidlitz, and it was excellent. There was a lot of patience there with him shooting, waiting for the goalie to make a move and then put it behind him.
Henrik Nelson trying to change the momentum for Sweden against Stanislav Pergat. Trying the one-hand pickup was Oscar Gramming. So good that Gramming has been able to return for Sweden, but it's a face-off win all the way near the restraining line by Eric Lichtner. Final minute, first quarter, a very good one for Slovakia. After a difficult game yesterday where they battled and did everything they could against the eventual #1 seed Italy, losing 19-6. They got within 4 goals early third. Schutz on the shot. Or rather, check that, that's Stefan Flaska, 99. But eventually there was just too much venuto. Slovakia tried 5 different face-off guys. They tried every strategy available that you can Google, Ingemar.
Yeah.
And it only worked to a very small extent.
And they probably did the long pole face-off, the shorty face-off, every kind of wing play, but yeah.
I could spend the entire second quarter telling you every strategy they tried.
Okay.
So, but our audience doesn't care about that right now. Stefan Flaska got the pass, and he had his stick up high as the target. Watch 99. Stefan Flaska playing this for his father at Deerfield. Postma throwing him open with the pass.
I think that's already a third goal right on the doorstep. They're wide open in the middle, and especially with a feeder like Posma, who has such a big background in box lacrosse, he can find everyone there on the crease. And with those tight and narrow passes, he's getting everyone open there.
Stefan Flaska, still in high school, plays soccer, lacrosse, and ice hockey at Deerfield Academy, and plays both travel soccer and travel lacrosse. So he's very busy in the off seasons, and his coach and dad strongly believes in the multi-sport athlete. We had a great discussion on that. Final seconds, that shot would not have counted. But it's 6-0 Slovakia at the end of 1 quarter of play. The Slovaks trying to advance here through this consolation bracket and advance to take on the loser between Ireland and Poland tomorrow on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. At the start of the second quarter, Ralph Binorcha with Ingemar Klingbanink. 6-0 Slovakia. And off the face-off, it's grabbed by Ludwig Thompson, and the Swedes getting back to work offensively and trying to build on the good things they showed yesterday against Ireland in terms of ball movement, competing all the way to the end. There is Thompson with the shot, and Ludwig Thompson missing. But Sweden does have backup. Through Joel Salenhag. And off here for Kevin Powers. Can Powers initiate a lot more? And these lopsided games for the Swedes, people have been very, obviously knowing who 20 in blue is. He had 2 goals and an assist in the opener against Wales. And Wales spending a lot of time and focus sliding on to him instantly. Here's Powers on the take against Jackson Harcha. As Harcha slips down. First time we've seen someone slip down here on this turf. Again, it stopped raining about almost an hour ago, but then this ball by Anton Johansson is past UL Salenhag and turned over. So the Swedes were able to get a positive dodge, but then not cycle the ball and create more from it.
Yeah, surprisingly, they couldn't really convert that slip from Hartje to a successful look or time and room for someone, because actually it's a kind of a man up. If someone drops, then you have one extra guy open, but unfortunately not for Sweden here.
Transition chance, Flaska! Well done. He got the pass in stride from Mark Lickner. 7-0. Stefan Flaska with the last two for Slovakia. Mark Lickner with the night find.
This transition offense from Slovakia is really effective, and it really hurts. It really hurts Sweden here. They're giving up these kind of easy goals, and because almost every goal here, also in the transition, is one-on-one on the keeper, and there's not really a slide. They don't have any pressure, and they have all the time, all the room to finish inside.
Stefan just finished his high school freshman year. He is in the high school class of 2028. So going into his sophomore year, 16 years old, that's the youngest you can be to play in this tournament. Face-off win by Nelson, and the drop-off here for Powers, so the first clean win for Henrik Nelson. Now Powers, he'll draw the flag against Hartje. And Powers is roughed up, but Ingemar, you can see when Kevin Powers is able to initiate, good things tend to happen for Sweden, as they've known for the last decade.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's been such an incremental part of both the field and the box program. And like I said, he was part of the 2012 team that won bronze in Amsterdam. Unfortunately, I was on the losing side of that game. But it just shows how long he's been a part of this program. And still, up to today, I think he's their biggest threat.
So a man up begins for Sweden, and it certainly is a significant one. Across Powers, beautiful no-look for Ludvig Thompson. Can't wait to see the replay on this one, 7-1. Man-up goal for the Swedes.
That's actually a really good skip pass from, we were just talking about him, from Kevin Powers, and right away Sweden converting the man up into a goal. It was a great skip pass down to the wing, and he had a one-on-one on the keeper.
Tremendous throwing over a couple of sticks.
Yeah.
Made it easy for Ludvig Thompson. Man-up finish for the Swedes gets them on the board. Early second quarter. Henrik Nelson misses the first chance. Pergot loves to kick the ball as a face-off man. This time doesn't kick it out of bounds and has it for Slovakia.
That's actually a really good face-off win. You know, you don't always have to win it in front to be successful, but he did a really good job staying on that ball.
Stefan Flaska, the last two for Slovakia, with momentum towards goal off the bench. And they'll swing in here for Christian Babini. And Stefan Flaska to spread the field. Christian Babini, going into his high school senior year, he faced off even twice yesterday.
Wow.
He was the one that arguably had the most success against Angelo Venuto of Italy. By really not facing off, by trying to focus on stripping him after conceding the face-off.
There we go.
He knocked it away from him once. Schutz, beautifully done. What a nice set from Slovakia. Griffin Schutz with 4 in the opening half. And the fine from Christian Babini, 8-1.
Yeah, again, such a good inside finish. He is so patient when he has that ball in the center. You see often a lot of players are kind of panicking because they have a lot of pressure. But yeah, I mean, great individual performance by him, being so patient inside and being able to finish so calmly.
Schutz with four different goals from the midfielder from the University of Virginia, who has found himself playing in and around the crease a lot more in this game. Nelson had the first chance at the ground ball. Continues to pursue. And a good jab check a couple times by Martin Kramar of Slovakia. And the ball is going to be pointed to Sweden. So Nelson does his job. Nelson was introduced to the sport of lacrosse from a cousin, and he's picked it up despite being a high-level wrestler growing up in Sweden and wrestling translating so well. Powers eventually got his hands free, and a timeout will be taken here by the Swedes with 8:24 to go and trailing 8-1. Do want to take a moment to shout out our pal and one of the linchpins of Sweden lacrosse, Marcus Lind, who just celebrated a birthday 4 days ago on 7/11. Congratulations, happy birthday, Coach Lind. He's the women's coach of Sweden. And Martin Davidson and John Sagerlius we're still thinking about trying to convince him to play, but Marcus has a lot on his plate, trying to develop a couple lefty attackmen, I think, for Team Sweden. His son Leo, his son Loki, can never have enough lefties, so I think that's what's really going on in the Lind household. But happy birthday, Marcus Lind, who probably would have liked to have been here, but right now he's very, very stretched as a father and coach.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, I think we were talking about it yesterday. There's so much lacrosse going on these days. In European lacrosse, world lacrosse, I think there are tournaments every year. So it's still a small community, and I think everybody has to make some choices somewhere to being able to attend as much as they can.
And Marcus Lind has been a member of the Swedish national team going back into 2008, and one of the original starters of Sweden box lacrosse, and he is still the women's national team head coach of the Swedes, who have several players also that are on the cusp of making NCAA women's lacrosse back in the States, and they're in very good shape there on that side. 8-1 is our score. Slovakia led 6-0 after one. Griffin Schutz with 4. Stefan Flaska with 2 for the Slovaks. Ludwig Thompson, a man-up goal for the Swedes. So they'll start with Powers here. Back at X, this is not a man-up for Sweden. Thompson, good inside crease roll and lost his balance. He beat the defender that time, and Callan Murphy, but his balance cost him. Otherwise, he had a crease roll for a goal. And AJ Babini will find Pergon, and Slovakia comes up with a stop with 7.5 left before halftime. The knockout round has begun. Slovakia, the 13th seed, Sweden, the 20th seed. As we join you here from Wrocław, Poland, where we have just crossed into the afternoon, and looks like good weather again, maybe some sprinkling, but the last day and a half we have finally had legitimate summer weather after feeling like it was like weather in Ireland for about 5 days. Cold and wind and temperatures in the high 50s.
I don't think the players mind it, but I think
well, we mind it.
Yeah, we.
Yeah, don't we count Nanaski on the speed dodge from behind, 9-1. Jake Nanaski, he saw that there was a slide that was not imminent. Watch number 4 in white.
Yeah, and again, quick turn, coming up from X. Didn't really have that much pressure. Got his hands free, and a quick wraparound shot for the goal.
Nanaski unassisted, and Slovakia has been able to consistently score out of their 9 goals, 3 in transitions, and the 6 half-field goals, Ingemar, I would estimate, have all been what you probably would classify as crease goals. There really hasn't been an outside shot yet, or even a medium range shot yet.
Yeah, also not from the Swedish goal, so everything is really in tight, in close, and I think that's also a translation from the experience the Slovakian team has with a lot of box experience. So I think that translates also into their field game.
Face-off win for Sweden. And the Swedes have had enough possessions where this score could not be or shouldn't be as lopsided, but they have not been able to convert. Here's Gustav Nordqvist. Plays as like the first midfield sub.
Yeah, we were already talking about a relatively small Swedish bench, and I only see four substitutions for Sweden. So I think they're even down one more, and yeah, that makes it really hard, especially in these conditions. Sun's out, but let's see what they can do.
Powers missing a golden chance there from the high crease area, and a good find by Anton Johansson. Johansson forced, because of that shorter bench, to play offensive midfield. He started this tournament as a defender. He is a true lefty pole. That is his position. Powers, and defenders draped all over him. And a good job by Branislav Adam, the box lacrosse goalie for the Slovaks. He's had a good tournament as he did enough to bump Powers, but not foul. Sweden with Johansson. And a deflected pass for Gustav Nordqvist. Thompson, as the pass carries through, past Anton Johansson as well, and Sweden turns it over after a promising possession where they got a couple of shots and moved the ball. So Mark Lichtner crosses. And Slovakia with under 4 minutes left in this running time clock. Final 30 seconds of the first 3 quarters. The clock stops in those final 30 on any whistle or in the final 2 minutes of the 4th quarter. Now the try Christian Babini to work on Nils Schneider.
He's got a shorty matchup here.
And Babini just could not hit targets. He probably had one more step in him. And Slovakia will have backup and possession nearing 3 minutes left. Sweden's had the ball much more in this second quarter, and they've held the Slovaks to just 2 goals. Or rather 3. Babini has the drop off. Oh, and Postma was by himself. So Sweden again, no slide to be found.
Nope.
And some ball watching, 10-1.
Yeah, you can see again. You see him coming up from X, and then Postma. He doesn't have anyone there on the crease. He's just all by himself. And yeah, if you have to give someone the ball in the Slovak team, it's gonna be Postma because he's such a good inside finisher there.
And Sweden has been focused on improving their man-to-man. And I've had countless coaches, Ingemar, tell me their area of improvement is defensive communication, probably the hardest thing to work on unless you're together a lot leading up into this tournament. And it's hard to artificially capture that, even if you do have a lot of talented players.
Definitely, and it's also, you know, it can also be very hard to make those adjustments during the game. You know, when they are, when you're watching film or you're between games during the tournament, there are a lot of opportunities. But during a game, during a match, it's going to be really tough. And if they found that sweet spot now with Slovakia, with feeding the crease, yeah, it looks like they're going to be they're going to be in a lot more trouble if they keep playing like this.
Coming up in the final minute, another assisted goal for the Slovaks too, and add that also, Ingemar, to the category of goals for Slovakia in tight crease goals.
Yeah, we haven't really seen any outside time and room shots like the typical field lacrosse goals you normally see in these leagues, but it's all been right from the crease, right in tight. But I think they found a sweet spot with a lot of people open right in front of the crease.
77 in white, Tomáš Lichtner is on. He is the father of Eric and Mark Lichtner. Feet in front, Postma, another assisted goal, and another find on the crease for Slovakia. 11-1.
Yeah, we can just keep talking about this inside finishing. I mean, again, it's a feed to Postma, and it's a little bit, the pass is a little bit high, and he's not the tallest guy on the field, Postma, but he still has so much room right on that doorstep where he can just dunk it in. Doesn't need the fakes this time, but just dunks it in on I think it's side lids, and yeah, he doesn't stand a chance with such a quick inside finish.
Simone Tomé that time the pass. 1-1 for him. Postma with his third. Clock stopping with 30 seconds left in the first half. And Slovakia has broken it open. The 13 seed leading the 20th. Face-off win. Jonathan Quigley facing off for the first time for the Swedes as he tries to get himself back to health.
Oh!
Opportunity. Thompson! Ludvig Thompson the goal. Transition for Sweden. Slovakia getting overextended. Ludvig Thompson with both for the Swedes.
Yeah, and it might look a little lucky, and it might be a little lucky, but sometimes you need that, especially to get back into a game or to get something going. And yeah, it's a little lucky, but I mean the finish is still good. It's still quality finish there.
11-2 now. 16 seconds left. We'll get the score corrected in a second. Second quarter. Quigley will win the face-off. And not having Jonathan Quigley yesterday certainly impacting Sweden against the top face-off guys in their group. Opportunity, Bromander. And Bromander could not get the stick free. Follow-up chance, Quigley, and time will run out for what ended up as maybe the best segment of lacrosse Sweden has played with the follow-up face-off win. It's 11-2 at halftime. Slovakia, the 13th seed, poised to advance tomorrow to face the loser of the 5-12 game, which is 5th-seeded Ireland and 12th-seeded Poland, which will take place later this afternoon in the game that will follow this one at 2 p.m. local time in Wrocław. Time out on the field for 10 minutes. We'll be back with more from World Lacrosse TV and Lax TV from Wrocław.
Commercial break! We've been really busy over the past 2 years developing our very own women's lacrosse stick.
We are really, really proud of it. So stop by the shop. We would love to tell you more about it.
Good Stick Co. Come get a stick. Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high-quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
We honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by World Lacrosse.
himself a 15 score. Start of the third quarter, it's 11-2, Slovakia over Sweden. Slovakia led 6-0 after one. Griffin Schutz playing not with cleats, but regular sneakers.
Yeah.
He was wondering, could he play barefoot even? He was trying to figure out if that's possible, if there's a rule against it. I told him, I'm sure there is from a safety perspective. But I don't know if they would specifically outlaw that, but it hasn't mattered. Schutz has come up with 4 goals, Samuel Postma with 3, as the shot by Ludwig Thompson is wide, and Stefan Flaska with 2. Ludwig Thompson has both goals for the Swedes as the third quarter gets started. The winner of this game, if it is Slovakia, they would face the loser of Ireland and Poland coming up at 2 o'clock local time, couple of hours. While the loser will take on Portugal tomorrow bright and early at 9 a.m., perhaps before the rain. So Slovakia here with Schutz and Stefan Flaska. For Jake Nanaski, who's also got a goal on a speed dodge from behind the X. And Ingemar will start here. We'll see if Sweden's defense and communication can improve. They have entered in new goalie and their third goalie, Robin Johansson, who is a lefty to try to change things. But for Slovakia, out of their 11 goals, there's an actual perimeter shot taken, and that hits pipe behind Robin Johansson. And the shot taken by Nanaski.
Yeah, I think that's almost the first outside shot we've seen, both from Sweden and Slovakia in this game.
Now Postma, as they try to take away his right hand from Salenhag. Across, Postma still was able to throw a rope. What a pass by Postma. Running away from Cage, he hits the lefty Tome, 12-2.
Yeah, and again, there's a Slovakian scorer right on the doorstep. He doesn't get guarded. He doesn't even get pressure when he caught the ball there. So it was again a one-on-one on the keeper, and yeah, also with this new keeper. Not a lot of chance of saving that. If you are so close, you have so much time, you have so much room. Yeah.
Robin Johansson, no chance to go. Pipe to pipe. Matusz Marani out of face-off for the Slovaks. Against Jonathan Quigley, who came in, took the last one. The number 1 face-off guy, so he must be feeling a little bit more healthier as this game goes on, and he chips it over in the vicinity of Kevin Powers. Sweden got enough possessions in the second quarter. Pretty balanced in terms of possessions in that second.
Yeah, and also scored 2 goals to really get the feeling back in the game. It's always good to score, and if you have 2 scores quickly after one another, then you might get the feeling getting back in the game.
Ludwig Thompson, look to the front. Here's Anton Johansson. Anton trying to roll back to his left. Anton across, and it could not be finished by Powers. Everything but the goal for Sweden. And Christian Babini, as he leads the 4-on-3. Postma, and then in and out of his stick. As Postma slips down. Knocked away by Rafael Nielsen, and finally Schutz has possession. Postma then tries to turn, fires lefty, and the flag is out against Rafael Nielsen. And Postma low to the center of ground, and as we've noticed here, Ingemar, where I think the players are not trusting their footwork at times, especially if they felt or known that it's rained. And perhaps some fouls are coming from that lack of trust.
Yeah, I think some of, especially if you're a defender, you're going to compensate on not getting your footing right, and then you're gonna maybe throw a check here and there, which you're not sure of, but you just want to help your team and you want to keep the defense up, and you can see that results in a foul here and there.
1 minute slash against Nielsen. A nice sign of sportsmanship, making sure that Postma is okay. The only thing Slovakia hasn't done in this game is score man up. Schut swings, Stefan Flaska. Postma, Schutz. Eric Lichtner looked across. And what a goal from Jake Nanoski. Well, he was not really in any kind of balanced position. You're gonna watch number 4, White, cutting through the crease.
Yeah, again, it's kind of the story of this game. You know, Slovakian attacker or midi just right in front of that goal of Sweden, where he can finish with all the time and room. Doesn't really get picked up by any of the defenders. I know it's it's a man down for Sweden, but at least get, especially if you're on the doorstep right there. If there's an attacker right on the doorstep, you at least have to get a stick on him or some action there.
Call will be against Matusz Meyer on the faceoff, as Quigley has made a difference for Sweden, but it's 13-2. Jake Nanoski adding his second goal and the first man-up goal for the Slovakians. And they are in firm control of this game on the first day of the knockout round. This is the consolation bracket. Kevin Powers pursues Slovakia, the 13th seed, Sweden, the 20th. Powers retreats, and then the pass out of the stick of Gustav Nordqvist.
Yeah, it was a good battle by Powers there. He really hustled hard, and unfortunately he couldn't connect it to his teammate. He was a little down. I saw a head down, but I think knowing him, he will keep battling for Sweden here.
AJ Babini, and Babini, good transition push. Babini wants to get involved, and the shot is blocked. Ball will stay with Slovakia. There has been a goalie goal in this tournament by Italy's Michael Ippoliti with a coast-to-coast dash against France.
Yeah, it was really good. I was first row for that one, and I saw it happen in real time, and it's just an insane highlight reel right away, and it just electrifies your team. I saw the whole bench exploded with after that goal, so I think Babowski also wants the same thing for his team.
Oh, what moves there, Mark Lichtner. 2 moves against his man, then spins off a second time and has a goal. Look at the second rollback by Mark Lichtner against Neil Schneider, the D-midi. That is that's an indoor goal for Mark Lichtner, 14-2.
Yeah, it's a little change up from their usual way of scoring in this game for Slovakia. Just an individual performance, a little dodge, jump shot right in the middle, but it just shows the versatility from this Slovakian offense.
Quigley, a face-off win for the Swedes. Powers has been held to without a goal, had one very good scoring chance late second quarter on a shot he missed. He's been held to an assist. Could have had a goal last trip down, but the pass could not connect. This is a feed by Anton Johansson, broke it up. And the pickup by Meyer, but then he throws the ball away past his teammate Martin Kramar.
Yeah, it looked like Kramer was a little surprised by that pass. Normally, when you have a shorty right in that area of the field, you just want to have him running it up and clearing the ball.
Powers picks up. Salenhag. Nanoski in there now defensively, which we haven't seen a ton of for Slovakia, but then that ball is thrown away past Anton Bramander. So Slovakia making the Swedes speed up their rate of play. And that leads to the turnover. And 14-2, next game on this field. Looking forward to watching Ireland and Poland playing on home soil. That should be very, very interesting. Next game that I think is already underway. France against Switzerland, the 7 versus 10. And then later on, Ingemar, you will be on 14 Netherlands and the 19 seed Norway. Norway, unfortunately, getting shut out yesterday. One of 3 shutouts. Actually, make that Bulgaria. Bulgaria was not shut out once. There is Powers with the rip. So Powers is able to beat Babini off stick side from Ludvig Thompson. Actually, that is to the stick side, I think, but Babini was leaning.
Yeah, excellent shot placement for Powers there. He saw Baboni a little bit off his line, off his pipe, and if there's, I think he's the best finisher on this Swedish team, Powers, and he found a little gap there. So it was excellent shot placement by him, and yeah, one of few outside shots this game.
Yeah, an actual step down look. 14-3 now the score. Norway, the first team besides Bulgaria, who's in their first international tournament, to be shut out. So that's what's noteworthy about that one, and they were smothered yesterday. Was Norway. And that was the final game of pool play last night against Israel, 10-0. Tough grab by Anton Johansson. So Norway will certainly be looking against a nation that they're quite familiar with, I'm sure, and the Dutch coming up later today. Anton Johansson searches for the rollback against Stefan Flaska, now in there defensively. And fed the shot through traffic for Powers. It carried through. Postma quickly on the take for Slovakia. Skips across Lichtner, and save is made by Robin Johansson. His first. Could not handle the rebound, though. He had the rebound in his stick, and on the follow-up, Eric Lichtner puts it away anyway.
Yeah, it's excellent fast break opportunity right away, and then yeah, it's just a shame. He's giving up the rebound there, and then it's a finish right inside on the doorstep. Actually, Slovakia has 2 guys without any pressure there, being able to finish. And I thought the goalie had it there, especially the rebound. It was an excellent save from the time and room shot from the fast break. Excellent pass from Postma.
1-1 for Eric Lichtner. And a 15-3 procedure is called against Slovakia, so they found themselves having some face-off issues again against Sweden. And should Slovakia advance against the loser of Ireland and Poland, that will be another area they'll have to address. And meanwhile, yes, Norway shut out last night by Israel, 10-0. Bulgaria was shut out twice. They did score goals in their last 2 games against the Netherlands and Latvia, and both very lopsided scores against them. Turned over by the Swedes. Final minute, 3rd quarter. Jackson Harches spent his college career at Harvard, where he played ice hockey and lacrosse, and then transferred to Division I program Lindenwood, who unfortunately closed its doors on its lacrosse program. Lindenwood, located in Missouri, one of the first programs in the Midwest part of the United States, located just outside of St. Louis. Now, he spent a year there, got a chance to play a lot, as we have whistles all over the field. And there is a flag down near midfield. The officials indicating at midfield a procedural issue by rolling his arms. However, they have picked up the flag. So we stay 6-on-6. Turning the corner, that's Eric Lichtner. Nanoski, a drop off. Eric Lichtner faking the shot, final seconds, then took it against Robin Johansson while fading away. Both Lichtners scoring goals in the third quarter for Slovakia. And the Slovaks ready with a tournament high in goals, 15-3. They lead 20th seeded Sweden on the first day in the first game of the knockout round consolation bracket. 15-3 as we go to the fourth quarter from Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV at the 2025 Men's European Lacrosse Championship. So sad. Yeah, it was so different, yeah. That's very sad. Start of the fourth quarter at 15-3. Slovakia, the 13th seed, leading 20th seeded Sweden. So Slovakia will hang out and watch the Ireland-Poland game. Ireland to 5, Poland to 12. And they'll play the loser of that game. That'll be sometime tomorrow afternoon. While Sweden, should the score remain, they will take on Portugal. I did not catch what seed Portugal had gotten. Jonathan quickly, another face-off win. Then the hockey stick style shot taken by Ludwig Thompson is wide. Gets the new goalie as Marion Templeton Jadron is getting this entire fourth quarter, the backup goalie. As Anthony Babini, AJ Babini now will get the fourth quarter off. Engelmar, anything to you as you looked at when the brackets came out The first thing is the coaches had very little time to actually prepare. They're trying to make guesses, but anything interesting to you? As here is Powers. First, let's talk about this. He puts a shoulder into the defender, creates some space on Callan Murphy, and has his second goal.
Yeah, again, he had time and room. It was not a lot of, like, he bounced off that long pole there, and you can see how little space he needs to actually get a shot off. It was actually really impressive. Another great placement from Powers there.
Powers with his second. Coaches did not have a real chance to prepare for this game, especially these teams. Now, if you're playing in the late afternoon, you have an advantage, but these brackets did not come out officially until about, I'd say it was probably about 8:45 last night when all the matchups were fully displayed. So
yeah.
Obviously these coaches stayed up a while and tried to show their players, but if you're playing in the 11:30 a.m. local time game, much more difficult to have a team meeting to discuss anything if you wanted to watch any film. And you've got to make adjustments on the fly as Quigley's pass into the high crease for Powers broken up.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, probably going to be a lot of late nights for especially these early games from the coaches. You know, staying up in their hotel, watching all the film, and trying to analyze their opponents. And for the later games, they have, you know, the teams have a little bit more time. And another goal.
Nice find. That was Powers, and he hits his man coming on the sneak on the crease to make it 15-5. And that is Gustav Nordqvist, who came from behind. Nordqvist, as Powers was able to throw the ball with great timing on the sneak.
Yeah, you saw there, you know, it was a very casual feed there to the crease, and he just came off a good shot power. So I think the whole Slovakian defense was really tend to slide early, get their focus on Powers, because he might have, you know, get the shot again. And it was a good sneak from Max there, from the
Quickly face-off win. That crossfield look, Salenhag. And Joel Salenhag might have had an opportunity to dodge there and missed his teammate going the other way. Sweden hoping to create the next generation of lacrosse players and starting youth lacrosse at a greater rate. That's the task for John Sargelius. Played in 1989 through 2016, and head coach Martin Davidson from 91 to 16. They helped start the sport. They have about 10 clubs that play, and they're hoping to find the next generation playing. And there's, of course, a great translation between ice hockey, which leads to box, which they hope can lead to field, and try to reascend Sweden lacrosse that had competed at a pretty high level for a good decade in the early days, but lacrosse has grown dramatically, and now it has gotten very crowded in Europe, with a lot of countries having a quality homegrown base, and then the North Americans they're able to add really swing things.
Yeah, I really think this is the most competitive European lacrosse championships ever, I would say. You see the talent and the level of lacrosse from actually all of the teams is really impressive to see.
Newcomers, new entrants into this tournament that are just starting to get their feet on the ground, like Bulgaria and Ukraine, and try to introduce the sport locally.
Yeah, and of course there's a skill gap. You know, we saw in the game of England versus Bulgaria. That's a newcomer against the current European champions. And of course there's a skill gap, but it's just awesome to see that, you know, they're up there. And wow!
Oh, that's quite the goal. We're going to have to see that, how that went in. That's Simone Tomei with his offhand. This could be the top highlight from this game. Tomei initially off the stick fake.
Yeah, really good shovel shot there, and it's kind of casual because we are kind of surprised as well on that goal. But amazing stick skills there, and he just needed so little space for that shovel shot, and get it behind the goalie.
There was basically no angle,
No.
maybe 10 degrees at best. Robin Johansson in goal, and perhaps not even considering the possibility that someone could execute that kind of shot. But that's what these players get introduced and see the highest level of play as Quigley wins the faceoff to Powers. One of the neat things about these tournaments to me, Engelmar, is the players that are especially passionate about it from their home countries, how much they go and watch the very skilled teams play. And it's one thing to watch them on YouTube and in streams, but they get a chance to see it in person and meet some of them and talk to them, and how incredibly invaluable that is moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, for example, the Bulgarian team, I've seen them walking around, watching all the games, really trying to soak up as much as lacrosse as possible. Now they have the access to it.
Feed for Postma, carried through just a touch behind him on the feed from Griffin Schutz.
Yeah, and you finally see some checks on the crease there on the doorstep, so that's good to see from Sweden, adjusting a little bit probably, because there was a pass there and there was an opportunity, but he got checked there on the crease, so he was not open this time.
Slovakia keeps. For Slovakia, with neighboring country Czechia becoming perhaps the, I'd say they are the recipe, they are the full cookbook, how to start a lacrosse culture in a country, and Czechia has been that with the NBLL, the National Box Lacrosse League, that is the biggest indoor league now in Europe, and lacrosse has become very popular in Slovakia. In schools, there's a sport called intercross. Are you familiar with intercross, Engelmar?
Yeah, it's really an accessible version of lacrosse, and it's accessible for everyone. Especially people who might be a little bit scared with the checks and with the physicality of lacrosse. And I think it's a way more accessible version for everyone to enjoy lacrosse.
2 flags are down against Sweden defensively.
Yeah, you mentioned Czechia, and I had the pleasure to go there often for tournaments like the Ales Sedbecky Memorial and the Winterlax Cup. And you see they're doing such a great job getting everyone involved. They have youth programs, they have women's lacrosse, they have field lacrosse, they're also now having sixes. Of course, the box lacrosse is used there. So yeah, and all mostly homegrown players also this time on the Czechia team. So definitely a lot of credit for building that lacrosse community there.
Yeah, well, they are not yet European champions, and the German model is also special. But I'd say what Czechia has done in a short amount of time is perhaps the greater model to follow. If you're a new country, Ukraine, Bulgaria, etc., that could be the one that you try to copy the most.
Yep.
And see how that grows, and that's what makes Slovakia fascinating. Nanaski on a strong take to cage. Once he got the defender to overcommit, he is a difficult train to stop. 17-5.
Yeah, Nanaski, he's such a powerhouse, and when he's dodging, it's hard to stop. He's so tall and he's so strong, and he dodges with purpose there, and it was a great individual performance from him.
Long Pomini, 21-year-old William Ringstrom came out to try to challenge. And as he overcommitted, Nanaski, beautiful face dodge to go around him going towards GLE. 17-5 with Nanaski's third. But in Slovakia, as they don't have a league yet for lacrosse under the age of 15, but they are probably in the infancy stages. They're probably where Czechia was in lacrosse, perhaps as of maybe 12 years ago. They don't have the volume of homegrown talent yet. Hold will be called against Martin Kramar. So Sweden will go man up inside the final 5 minutes. But intercross is very prevalent in middle school, and it's getting to be essentially a sport that becomes part of the curriculum in Slovakia. That's one of the things Igor, the team manager, told me in Slovakia, that they think should have a great help because it provides a little bit of a bridge to lacrosse.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think if you get, especially that age group, getting addicted to lacrosse, like a lot of people in other countries, that's going to be huge for building a homegrown program. Definitely.
Branislav Adam throwing the clear, and what a good box out here from Callan Murphy to come up with that ball.
Oh, he's getting the warding off call there from the referee.
Yeah, Murphy did everything to make a fine grab and box his man out, but eventually needed to separate using the off arm. Powers looks in front, and that's turned over by the Swedes with 3:45 left. And actually, they'll say it's deflected and going to stay with Sweden. A good job by the side referee.
Yeah, it got deflected there and almost kind of trickled in there.
Shovel shot short side. Ludwig Thompson racing for Templeton Jadron. And it is only Slovakia there to the end line with Mark Lichtner. 17-5. Callan Murphy ahead. This was make it 6-0 at the end of one quarter. 11-2 at halftime. Griffin Schutz having the biggest game for Slovakia, as he had 4 of the first 8. Samuel Postma with 3. Jake Nanoski with 3. And Simone Tome with his first 2 goals for Slovakia since joining the team, arriving late to this tournament yesterday morning. Here's Eric Lichtner, just graduating high school out of the Brooks School in Massachusetts. Goes across, and he was trying to feed his father, Tomasz Lichtner. That would have been a story to try to come up with son assist to dad. Now, this game, I have failed to note to this point, this game might be the first in history where you have both teams having a father-son combination. We have not yet seen Andreas Ringstrom in goal. Andreas is the father of William Ringstrom, who plays short stick D-midi and a backup pole for Sweden. And then you have the Lichtner family for Slovakia, Tomasz with sons Eric and Mark. So it would take a while to research that, but it's probably unlikely that there's ever been a game that featured father and sons on both sides.
Yeah.
This one carried across. Babiny, after the intended target was Tomasz Lichtner. For the final 90 seconds, that would really put a bow on this for Slovakia. We'll then eat lunch and have a look at Ireland and Poland. Coming up later, Ireland's defense has been tremendous in this tournament. Poland, the home country. Tomasz Lichtner stopped in tight. Robin Johansson the save off the stick. And Tomasz Lichtner, he's not done yet with a minute to go.
No.
Shovels off for Eric Lichtner. Eric Lichtner back for Tomasz, and it was behind him.
Yeah, they're really looking for that father-son connection in there, I think. And like you said, it would be an amazing story to also have them comment later on in the post-game interviews, I think.
Christian Babiny, then they would have to be the post-game interview.
Yeah.
Christian Babiny, and the shot is blocked. That's off the body of Nils Schneider, who is shaken up as Robin Johansson approached here with 28 seconds left. And Nils Schneider and took that one square. Nils Schneider from Gothenburg, Sweden. He's also been an assistant coach to his teammate Anton Johansson in Limerick, Ireland in 2022, coaching the U20 squad. And that was led by the McRae twins and the U20 Euros last year. That was played right here in Wrocław. As Nils Schneider is evaluated, and what a sign of togetherness by the Swedes that they all surround him. the paramedics are coming out to assist Neil Schneider. Fortunately, they're on the scene at all times.
Yeah, you can see some good sportsmanship. I think that's one of the Slovakian team managers there helping out the medics. And this is it's always a nasty sight seeing someone down, and especially coming up from a shot, because also as an offensive player, you never want to hurt a defender. That's never your intention when you have that shot. But yeah, if you're shooting, it's going to be dangerous, and you never know. Some never know where your shot's going to end up, and how a defender is going to play, and wants to give their body to stop a ball.
As Neil Schneider is being evaluated of Sweden, and the paramedics are out to try to assist. Schneider plays in the first midfield for the Swedes. Can report some good news in terms of injuries. Serious injuries suffered by the Bulgarian Dimitar Velev. Looked to be a serious concussion. Saw him yesterday and he was feeling much, much better, but still waiting for time to pass. Velev of Bulgaria a couple days ago against the Dutch, Ingemar, you and I were on the game, took a shot from in close, square on the back of the helmet.
Yeah,
and it also required paramedic attention.
Definitely, and noticeable. It was not just a shot. There were multiple shots hitting him in the helmet and in the back of the neck. So that's yeah, that was a very unpleasant sight. I actually had the chance to talk to him yesterday, to Velev, and he said, "I'm just taking a rest day today, taking a rest of this game." The doctor said I was fine, but it's better to take one.
We wish the absolute best to Neil Schneider as he's being taken off the field and carried off on a stretcher. So of great concern for Sweden. They will take on Portugal 9 a.m. tomorrow. 17-5 Slovakia. And we'll just play out the rest of these 28 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think Sweden now might want to score one for their fallen teammate here.
Powers up top. Powers will fire, and that's into the stick of Templeton Jadron. And he can hold it, and this will bring this game to a conclusion as Slovakia picks up their third win of this tournament. It's 17-5. Tournament high 17 goals for the Slovaks. The 13th seed advances as they run past 20th seeded Sweden. 17-5 is our final. Sweden will take on Portugal tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. With the win, 13th seeded Slovakia will take on the loser of our 2 o'clock game local time in Poland, 5 seeded Ireland or 12th seeded Poland. And that'll also take place tomorrow afternoon. 17-5 is our final. Numerous stars. Griffin Schutz with 4 goals. Jake Nanoski with 3. Samuel Postma with 3 to lead the way. Kevin Powers, 2 goals and an assist to pace the Swedes in the losing effort. For my partner Ingemar Kleinbeck, my name is Ralph Bednarczyk saying so long and thank you for watching the 2025 Men's European Lacrosse Championships from Wrocław, Poland on Lax TV and the World Lacrosse TV.
I'm joined here on the sidelines by number 6 from Sweden, Ludvig Thompson. Ludvig, this game didn't go the way we wanted, but this whole tournament has sort of served as a learning experience. Tell me about that and how the team has kind of grown.
I think we've come far, seeing from day one of camp. We've taken a lot of good steps. We're improving day by day and game by game. So I'm really proud of the boys for that. But I still feel like we have more steps to go, and we have a long way to go still.
Now, late in the fourth quarter, we saw a big injury, brutal. Wishing for the best recovery for him, but we saw a lot of you guys gather around him, sort of to give him some respect and privacy. What kind of values do you think that shows about Swedish lacrosse?
It shows great team value. You know, it shows that we stick up for each other no matter what happens, what the score is, and that we're always there for each other.
Awesome. Now, 2 of your coaches, they basically pioneers of Swedish lacrosse. Tell me about them, not only as coaches, but also how they are as people.
They're great guys. They're both great lacrosse coaches, but great guys on the outside of the field too. They're always supporting us. They're always there to help us when we need them, and in all aspects of life and the sport. So
awesome. One more time here with Ludvig Thompson of Team Sweden. Next up, interview from Team Slovakia. Thank you, Ludvig. Appreciate it, man.
I'm here with Mark, Eric, and Tomas Lickner, brothers and sons and fathers of the Slovakian team after a big win over Sweden. So Tomas, what's it like for you to play on a team with your sons?
It's my dream. Every time I dreaming, I play with my sons.
And then for you guys, what's it like to play with your dad?
I mean, you know, it's a great feeling to be on the field with my dad, and just to be able to play with my brother too. It's just a great feeling overall. So.
I think it's a little scary for me seeing him and just making sure he doesn't get whacked. But yeah, it's amazing.
And then you guys had a big win today, so you're going to play either the losers of Ireland or Poland. How are you feeling going into tomorrow's game?
I'm feeling pretty confident. I think we're ready for it. Today I think we did a really good job, so we're very confident for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, I don't think it matters who we're playing, but yeah, we're going to be ready, get some rest today, and yeah.
Awesome. That was the Lickner family after a big win over Sweden, going into tomorrow's game versus either Ireland or Poland. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good luck.